Let's talk to our guest tonight, Preston.
Yes, hello.
The very famous, infamous, and beautiful Nancy Ruth. Hi, Nancy. Welcome.
Hi, Frankie. Hi, Preston. Hey, you guys.
Hello.
It's great to be here.
We love having you.
Yeah.
It's been a year since you've been here.
I know, and this is actually the third time I've been back. So it's
That's great.
Yeah, this is becoming a habit. This is great.
Nice here, though. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
first one you were in.
Oh no, it's the
Which
same
was-
place.
was- yeah,
We've had her here before.
How long have we been here? 3 years now?
Close to about 3 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. I can't believe it. Time goes by when you're having fun.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, first off, Nancy's in the house. Nancy, how are you?
I'm so happy to be here. It's
I
always
love
great
it.
to be in New York. There's just so much activity, you know. I mean, it's such a great contrast to the tiny little Spanish town that I live in. So I'm finding that balance, you know, between having had my time to just like focus and write on stuff, right? And now I'm here doing some recording and connecting with colleagues and just playing music. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, but a lot of people that I know would like to be where you live.
Yeah, well, I want to be there too, half the year.
I know. Remember I told you.
I know, six and six. I know, I got to work on
Instead
that.
of being bi-coastal, you'll be bi-continental.
Yeah.
Come back and forth. So you got some new stuff to share with us tonight? That
Actually, I have a new single coming out, which is called Breathing in Indigo, and it's got a music video, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And we just did this really incredible project in Morocco with some
Nice.
Moroccan musicians, you know.
That's really
Because
great.
you know I'm really attracted and influenced by the music in the Mediterranean, so south of
know.
Spain, north of Africa. And so I wrote a piece which I thought would be perfect to collaborate with some Moroccan musicians. So
That's
I went
great.
down there, scouted out players, just found exactly the right guys to play on this.
That's great.
Oud, violin, percussion, and some vocals. And it was just...
Castanets.
No,
Flamingo.
well,
Did you do something with flamenco at one point?
Well,
you were sort of involved with that kind of music.
Yeah, well, it's a huge influence in what I do because I've been in Spain for 20 years. So it's a natural influence by now. I mean, it's just in my blood. So it comes out in what I write. But I'm absolutely not a flamenco artist, but I don't want anyone to get confused about that. Because flamenco, I mean, I have way too much respect for flamenco to say that I'm a flamenco artist. But it's, you know, it's an influence. It's there harmonically and rhythmically in what I do. So.
When you say the word Morocco, I hearken back to my family's heritage.
Yeah.
Because during the war, we brought in Cipollini from Morocco.
Oh, in your store?
And we were importers.
Yeah, right.
And we imported it to the United States.
Yeah.
And we brought it from Morocco. That is what started our importing business in 1945.
Wow.
1946, yeah.
From Morocco.
Morocco, yeah. And it was great, you know. It was just,
Okay, so I'm going to ask a really stupid question. What's Cipollini?
No, it's not a stupid question because a lot of people, it's like shallots. You know what shallots are?
okay.
Okay. And
Yeah.
it's a cross between an onion and a garlic. And it's a very small vegetable.
And they grow these in Morocco?
They come in Morocco, yeah. And they come in baskets.
I had them sauteed, and they're delicious.
He knows.
Really?
The shallots. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it's like shallots. And it's very good. Yeah, they're very good.
Well, the food is incredible in Morocco. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a cultural, wonderful place.
Yeah.
You know.
It is.
I'd love to visit Morocco. Yeah,
You know, you
it's
go
like-
there and it hasn't changed for 400 years. So
Oh,
there are
that's true.
Wow.
there are very few places in the world where you can go and say, "Man, I'm like in a totally different world here."
Wow.
It's
Okay.
kind of an
I definitely-
amazing experience.
Yeah, definitely need to visit.
And people are wonderful. They're very hospitable. Music is great. I mean, I just love it. I'm fascinated by the architecture and the history and just, you know, like being in a place that's just completely authentic, you know?
I always feel that way when I drive through, like the Amalfi Coast, and I see the houses in the mountainsides and the colors.
Oh, it's beautiful
It's
there
just
too,
beautiful. It
yeah.
hasn't changed, like
Yeah,
you say.
yeah.
It's been that way forever. You know.
Yeah.
I love that culture and the buildings and you know. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of years, not thousands of years, not a couple of hundred like we have here.
And the buildings are still standing, and
They're still,
they built them on these cliffs in such a way that you think, man,
They're gonna
I don't
fall
know,
off.
but they're still there. They must have known something we don't know.
They know. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, but it's just an incredible. It's just incredible to travel, folks.
Yeah.
If you get the chance to travel.
That's right.
And so tell us a little bit about the album that you did.
Well, this project in Morocco is a thing that I've been wanting to do for many years because I've been traveling through Morocco for the last 18 years, I guess.
Wow.
And it's a wonderful experience to be in a room with a bunch of musicians that you have nothing in common with, like no common language.
Right.
I mean, no, we don't even speak my French is terrible. Some of them speak French there.
Yeah.
No common gender. I mean, in my case, I'm a female and they're all guys. No common religion, no common background of culture, musical training, no common scale even, because a lot of the music in Morocco, especially and also the scale that the Berbers use, it has 5 notes. And so I was in a situation once where I was playing something that I had written on the guitar and singing it, and they would listen and then they would echo it back, but using their scale. So it's almost like they not transposed it harmonically, but just using 5 notes instead of 12. And doing it in their way,
Well, this is what we
incredible.
always say about music. No matter who you are, where you're from, it doesn't matter what your background is. When you sit on that bandstand, you're communicating and you don't have to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an amazing thing. I mean, we have a lot of Japanese people that come in and play, and they don't all speak, English. They broken, whatever they know. But when they sit down and they play, we're communicating.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's the feeling that you get.
Universal language, baby.
It is.
Music is a universal language.
It gives you shivers, when you're in a situation like that in a different country, a different environment, and you have that kind of an experience. I think that's what inspired me to do this project,
Wow, yeah.
So I wrote this piece of music that I thought would be perfect for this kind of instrumentation.
Have you done it? Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, we just recorded it. We've got the first draft of the video, but I have the audio here, so if we want to listen to it,
we can play it on YouTube.
Yeah,
on the computer,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
Good.
Well, I've got it on a stick.
You got it on your. Okay. You got it on a stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Give
get it for
to
you.
him so we can play it.
Yeah.
And so, how's the family?
I don't even have a plant. I mean, I'm on the road all the time. I was thinking about trying a cactus, but I forgot to have kids, and I never got married. And so my mom and my brother are doing fine. So yeah,
that's what
and my band. They're my
that's your family.
So,
yeah. Your mom and your brother are doing okay.
They're doing great,
and they're here. So Nancy, so you're going to be in town for about 10 days?
10 more days. I've been here for 12, and I think I've got 10 or 12.
And we're going to see you.
Recording.
We're going to see you recording. You'll stop at Arturo's, hopefully.
Yeah.
And is there anything you want to say in Spanish? Does anybody know you're on radio?
¿Hay alguien que está escuchando?
Hola.
Right.
I don't know. Bueno, estoy encantada de estar aquí en Nueva York, por supuesto, con mi amigo Frankie, mi otro amigo Preston. Una maravilla estar aquí y muchos besos para todos.
I can listen to her all night long, I swear to God.
Claro que sí.
Claro que sí, eso
Claro que
sí.
sí.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you're finishing up the latest thing that you did in Morocco.
Yeah, finishing up the Morocco project, and then I've got this video which I think is going to be broadcast on Spanish television. It's called Breathing in Indigo. And then I've got the recording that I'm doing here in New York, which I'm so pumped about because
Where are you doing
just
that?
the caliber of players, that I'm working
We got
with.
John DiMartini there.
John, yeah.
John is amazing.
Es un bicho, como decimos en español.
Yeah. He's the
do it all.
definitive. He can do it all. And he's a wonderful. You haven't met him, but when you meet him, you tell me.
Yeah,
you know
I mean, I met him briefly. I've seen him perform. So yeah.
Well, when you do the thing, tell him you know me because we go back a long way.
You guys all know each other here. Like everybody that I meet here independentely, this. Oh yeah.
When you're
everybody
here,
knows each other
the
here.
6 months that you're going to do here,
eventually
you're going to know everybody.
Yeah.
You're going to meet everybody and know everybody. There's some great musicians here, and everybody's nice. I mean, every time I play at Arturo's, there's not anyone who's not gracious.
No, it's a great vibe.
And these young bass players that are coming around to us now are just really, really.
Do you know Josh Markham?
I know the name.
He's going to be playing on my recording as well with John.
Okay, who's playing drums?
Well, there's no drums. Sorry, Frankie.
Whoa! She did that because she doesn't want to tell me who the guy is.
No.
It's okay.
I'm recording a jazz ballad with just piano and bass and myself.
That's fine.
And then I'm recording this orchestral piece with some of the players from the New York Philharmonic are going to be playing on this thing. String quartet with piano, John also on piano.
How great is that?
And Joe Gianono is doing the
Joey's
the
doing
string
it. Joey's great too.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, I did this beautiful arrangement.
Left-handed
I
guitar
said
player.
let's record this. So yeah.
You know Joe Magnarelli?
No.
He's going to be on the show pretty soon.
Okay.
Joe's a great trumpet player.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
been around.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
His wife is an incredible organ player, too. Akiko. Her name is Akiko.
Oh, I've seen her. I saw her at Showman's
That's where you see
2
her.
years ago.
She still plays there.
Does she?
I sat in with her up there with the saxophone player who did, what's his name's TV show? Harry
Connick.
Harry Connick show. Yeah, and he's just crazy.
Yeah.
I love him. Another Italian guy.
Yeah.
Saxophone player.
Cool.
And I went up there and I sat in with them. We had a great time.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Nobody's got an attitude about anything like that.
I noticed that.
You want to go in and sit in, they invite you up and you play.
I know.
And we do that at Arturo's.
Yeah.
Arturo's was built on the idea that you can go and sit in and have a pizza, you know.
Yeah, I sat in last night at this really nice little gig, Lovelace, in the financial district with Neil Miner on bass and Adam Huazinia on guitar. Great players.
Neil's wonderful.
Yeah.
He works with Michael Kanan a lot. And they work with Jane Monaghan.
And Jane Monaghan, I was going to say. And I love Jane. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She moved to California. Mike has been
that.
doing gigs with her, but not as frequently as before because he's here and she's over there.
Yeah.
And he does go and fly and do stuff with her. You know? And he was in Spain and did a piano workshop.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where he was in Barcelona.
Yeah, they're getting crazy for jazz in Spain.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's really wonderful. It's a good thing.
It's called Just Can't Let It Go. Just Can't Let It Go. Okay. I guess the lyric of this song is really because I keep going back, I mean, I've been going back to Spain.
Your whole life?
For 18 years now. And it's not easy, I mean, why would I give up my perfectly good life here in my case in Vancouver and go, I mean, when I first went to Spain, I had no phone, no internet, no money, no job, didn't speak Spanish that well, didn't know anybody. I mean, it was just like I just had to go,
Look what you've accomplished, young lady.
But I just had it, this thing. I just had to do it. And I have to say, I mean, as much as I love Spain, it's not as easy as it is living in North America in a lot of ways, especially for like entrepreneurial people.
I admire you that did that.
So, but there's something there. There's some energetic thing there that just. It's not just the Phrygian scale, which is part of it, because I love the harmony.
I know, but the point is that you have a drive, and you saw it, and you did it. And I tell people to follow their dream and do what you love, even if you did it for an hour. No, I'm serious.
Well,
you got to do it because you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
And you have peace with yourself.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Frankie. That's
people
it.
don't have peace.
That's why it's worth taking the risk. Yeah.
That's why I gave up everything to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I play music 3 nights a week. I'm playing with great musicians. Fortunately, they like to play with me. We have a good time. Mm-hmm. The music's great. The radio show's great. I get to interview people like you. I mean, I'm having a ball. I'll do some voiceovers.
Yeah.
So not the way my voice sounds tonight. Let me explain to you folks that this woman is very talented. She's been doing great stuff with her career. And it's a pleasure to have her in the studio with us. We talk about her. And I'm going to ask her when she comes back to the microphone where we can get her music because she has some great stuff. Great writer, arranger, and she has great musicians over there in Spain. Where do we... Look at that picture. Look at that picture of this woman. Is that beautiful? I can't take it.
Breathing in indigo.
Let me ask you a question. Where can we buy your stuff?
On iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, CD Baby, NancyRuth.com, all the links are there.
That's okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real talent we have here tonight, sharing the microphones. The music and the creativity of this woman is beyond compare. It's really wonderful. So you're going to do this album here, and you're working with the New York Philharmonic Strings.
Yeah.
And
quartet.
Quartet
that works. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe's doing the arrangement.
Joe Gianono, and we're Oscar Zambrano is the engineer at Zampol Productions, which is a beautiful studio
in Brooklyn.
It's in Chinatown, actually, on
really?
Christie Street. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
okay,
and
cool.
they've got a 1920 Steinway piano there, and just a beautiful room. And
can you play guitar, Nancy?
Of course she does.
Yeah. Well, I've been practicing flamenco guitar for a lot of years, but that's
cool.
a lifelong ambition right there.
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be incredible.
Problem is when you're I'm a piano player, so it's either the guitar or the piano. It's like jealous lovers, because for the guitar you need long fingernails to play flamenco guitar. For piano, you got to keep them short. So, it's like a battle between the instruments. But I absolutely love the sound, and I love the percussive nature of it, the way it feels. So,
nice.
Yeah, I love the guitar. La guitarra.
Your guitar.
My guitarra.
My guitar.
Yeah.
Singing the song for me.
There's a great, who surprised me as far as being like a great flamenco guitarist, Charo.
Oh, she actually can play.
Somebody's playing with her.
Yeah.
One of my friends is playing with her, I think.
Really? She's still playing, man.
Yeah, she's working.
I actually saw her play like 3 or 4 years ago, and she's still got it, man. Holy Jesus.
Yeah, she's old.
She's up there dancing away, and she's in shape. Man.
She's going away, man.
I used to love her when I was a kid, because anything that had to do with Spain was just like
coochie.
And she used to be on the Merv Griffin show
all the time,
right?
With the
Love Boat and all that.
Yeah.
She was on Love Boat, I guess.
In Love Boat.
Yeah.
Oh, you never believe who my roommate was in an Airbnb here.
You wrote that. I remember you telling me.
Ted Lang, the bartender.
Ted Lang was a roommate for you.
The bartender from the Love Boat was my roommate.
That's funny.
Oh, Isaac, right?
Isaac, yeah.
Did he make you a drink or what?
Super nice guy. I don't know when we were sharing a bathroom, but that's Merv Griffin show. Remember Jack Sheldon, trumpet player?
Of course.
Whatever happened to him? I loved him. I had a big crush on him when I was about 8 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Merv Griffin's Doc Cheatham.
Yeah, he was
not Doc Cheatham.
He was a
Doc Severinsen.
Yeah, he was a band leader. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
I don't know what happened to Jack Sheldon.
Oh man, he was
funny. He was a good player.
He was great, and he had such a great sense of humor. Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
he inspired me to be a musician.
Really?
When I was young, yeah.
That's interesting.
I was like, okay, I see myself doing that job.
I was going to ask you who your inspirational influences were when you were a kid growing up, and what drove you. Now I know.
That was one,
One, yeah.
And another thing is I grew up without television, and
Wonderful.
my dad was a drummer. Did I ever tell you that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And no, he wasn't a pro because he had to. He always said he sold his drum kit to buy a washer and dryer when I was born because he had to wash the diapers.
That's funny.
But anyway, he later bought a drum kit, and my house, which my dad built actually, had a drum kit in the middle of the living room. And my dad played, I played, my brother played, my poor mother, of course, she's
nuts,
like, there's like 3 people playing the drums.
So you played drums?
Well, I played just like any kid would. Like, let me play. Me and my brother would have competitions who could play better on Beatles songs.
Right.
But that's about as far as it got for me. But anyway, my dad had this jam session when I was about 11 years old, and all these great players came, and I was like, that's it. Oh my God, that's my life. My first gig was playing at Sydney Days. Sydney's a small town in British Columbia where I grew up, and I was a ukulele player.
Oh wow!
And my grandfather was, actually my grandfather and his brother, they were great musicians. My grandfather and his brother, they were blind. They were, all the boys in the family had a certain eye disease, and they all went blind, but they were all incredible musicians. And my great uncle, Glenn Thornton Trump was his name. Glenn and the Old Smoothies. It was a big band in California.
Wow.
Yeah, because part of my family went to the States, and because they were all Irish immigrants, right? So part of them came down to the States, and some of them went to Canada. And so I think I'm telling the story right. Oh, sorry if I'm making stuff up. No,
go ahead.
I know that's the case with my mom's side of the family, but my dad's side of the family too. So, but anyway, they were all, they were multi-instrumentalists, and they could just play anything. And so, my dad grew up with this too. My grandfather played the organ. He's just one of those guys that would just play all night at parties and play another one, Bev, and so, that was it.
That's the way they did
so he gave me this ukulele, and I learned how to play, you must have been a beautiful baby.
Yeah, right.
You must have been a beautiful child. And then I would say it,
we can do it live right here, Preston.
On the dock.
We don't need no stinking. We don't need no.
That's way, yeah.
We don't need no stinking computer. We can do it live right here.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have a piano in here, but a little keyboard.
Oh, I have a keyboard.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
But my dad built a sailboat, and so
really,
and so I used to go down to the dock with my ukulele, and he would be like varnishing, and I'd be sitting on the dock with my ukulele.
That's a great story.
Playing music, and people started throwing money in the case, and I was like,
"This is a
good thing." I would go get the money, and I would chase after them and say, "Sir, you dropped 25 cents." He said, "No, that's for you." I said, "Really? What are they giving me money for?" And they said, "No, that's for you, little girl."
How
and I
old
thought,
were you,
wow, 12 or something, yeah.
That's great.
My first gig on the dock.
You were on the docks. She worked on the docks, folks. She didn't belong to the union. She was down there playing a ukulele. Get that girl in the union.
Oh, man, yeah. With my little sailor cap on.
I would love to see a picture. Is there a picture?
I have a picture of that.
Put it up
The
on
ukulele and the sailor cap.
Put it up on Facebook one day. When you get a minute.
Little braids, yeah.
Oh, you must have been beautiful then. You must have been a beautiful baby.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when you grow up without television. You got to make stuff up.
Everybody should grow up without television.
Yeah.
I got rid of mine about 12 years ago.
Good.
Oh,
Isn't it better? I mean,
better.
I watch TV when I'm in hotel rooms, and it's like after 5 minutes, I've seen everything. They just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It's
There's really nothing on.
So Nancy, are you scheduled to play a gig while you're here?
Just came back from Senegal, doing a big jazz festival in Africa, and the St. Louis Jazz Festival.
Now, how do you book yourself on these things?
Yeah, that's why Hey, excuse me, world. If there's a booking agent out there, I would gladly pay you 15 to 20%, because it's a lot of work,
today.
man. Yeah, I've been doing all the bookings myself, and it's a tremendous amount of work.
I know, because you got to stay on top of stuff.
Yeah, you do. Visas, because I brought my whole band down there. There's 5 of us,
that's
so
incredible.
it's a lot of work to bring us all down there.
They had to pay for that.
Yeah, but they paid us well for the gig. But going to Senegal, that was a big adventure because
that's wonderful.
It's a long drive.
Over the ocean. Yeah.
It was a long drive from Dakar to St. Louis, but it was amazing. I mean, they have got like a major operation happening down there in St. Louis.
How much French did you have to speak?
Well, yeah, actually, I took French lessons before I went, and I tried to talk to people in the audience in my show in French, and they just said, "Just speak English."
Yeah, right. Stop.
And I just shut up and started singing again.
That's so funny.
My French is bad. I mean, I used to speak French very well, because we learn it in school in Canada.
You have adaptability to language because
I just need to be in the
Spanish. I mean, your history
all my French went to Spanish in my head. So, but I would love to get my French back. I just need to spend a couple of weeks in Paris or Montreal.
When you're so determined to do stuff. I wish I had your energy, though. I mean, I have, for a guy my age, I got a lot of good energy.
I will tell you the secret.
What is it?
It's called the siesta.
Oh, I used to
That's
take a nap.
all you need to do. You just need to take from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, take it off, rest. Just chill.
That's still a common practice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything shuts down in Spain between 2 and 5.
Wow.
Like, you can't even
same in Italy.
buy a bottle of water. It just shuts down. Everything shuts down.
Day of rest. Yeah.
See, I want to do that, but I'm driving between 2 and 4. I don't want to do that.
It's hard to turn off in this city. But,
no, you can't.
But there's so much
I go
energy
home.
here. It's great.
I live in an apartment where my bedroom is in the back of the apartment.
That's good.
And there's no noise. Yeah. You want to play something else that you wrote and that you sung, or we're running out of time here?
Sure. Yeah, you could put on the last big hit if you want.
Let's play the last big hit.
Actually, this tune got a whole bunch of airplay in the States here. Oh. And it's being played, like the video is being played. It's called Todo Para Ti. If you could just go to music, you'll see
Todo
it.
Para Ti. See.
NancyRuth.com.
Everything for you.
All for you, yeah. And this song's been so successful. I never would have expected it, so it's kind of cool.
That's great. Now, that got airplay last year, right?
Yeah.
When it was out.
Yeah, I think they're still playing in Massachusetts.
Oh, good. That's good.
Did I say that right?
Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Yes.
Massachusetts. Yeah. This has been so much fun, Nancy. I can't wait to have you back again. But what we're going to do is we're going to break down the problem we have with your flash, and then we'll play your stuff when you're not here.
Hey, I can't wait, and I can't wait to give you the new stuff that I'm recording here. It's just going to be amazing.
Send it to Preston so we can play it on the air.
Cool.
All your new stuff.
I hope it's rock and roll. Is it rock and roll? It's not rock and roll.
It's not rock and roll.
It's rock and roll in its own rock and roll way.
Okay. Yeah. I want to.
It's rock and roll for 50-year-olds.
Okay.
That's what.
No, well, there are 50-year-olds that are rocking still.
Hey, man, all the jazzers are like 22 now. My God, these guys around town, they're playing.
Oh yeah, they're like college students now.
Holy Jesus! Some of these guys are like playing circles around everybody. It's incredible.
Yeah, Jack Klopman's a good friend of mine. We did the show together today. He's a really fine, and he's very Latin influenced. And he is 29. And and he sounds great.
Yeah, these guys are blowing me away. These kids playing.
Well, we're done. But I want to just say this has been so much fun, Nancy. Thank you.
Thank you, Frankie and Preston.
And Preston's here.
Muchas gracias.
De nada. Un placer. Es un placer. Un placer estar con vosotros hoy, esta tarde, aquí en Nueva York, en City World Radio. Radio
Wado.
No entiendo. That's okay.
Radio
That's
Wado.
okay.
I got to tell you a story off the air about what my father did. Anyway, listen. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune into the show, Mia Berman Show. Mia, we love you. Get better.
Yes,
I know you don't feel good,
soon.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
Get better. Johnny Anello's show and all the folks that are on the network. Check it out. Check out John's new album. And check out Steve Blaine's album, So New York. And check out, of course, Nancy Ruth.
Yes, Nancy Ruth. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Gracias.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Oh, one more thing. Happy birthday to the late, great John Lennon.
This is his birthday?
Yes.